Hey guys, how are you today? Welcome back to my channel and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. Today is Christmas Eve and I thought it was perfect timing to finally check out the first Christmas album from Steps. Now this past summer I did go on my Steps discography journey. I listened to all their albums for the first time and let me tell you, it was so much fun. I had a blast. It was my first time being exposed to Steps, and this album in particular, Light Up the World, was their first album in 12 years, released in 2012. Not only their first Christmas album, but their first album in 12 years since 2000's Buzz album. So I guess this album, Light Up the World, was a little bit of a comeback of sorts. I mean, talk about exciting for Steps fans. After 12 years of not receiving any new music from the band, they finally put out a brand new album after all those years. Now there are 12 tracks on the album. The album is 45 minutes and I don't recall hearing any of these songs before. So let's jump into the album with track 1, History is Made at Night.
Turn off the camera, kick your shoes off for the scene. Turn down the lamp, for the last page has been turned. History is made at night, so close the books, turn off the light. Let the moon be our only light. At night, I see the questions burning in your eyes, or is it just reflection? Then we'll sleep through the day, and whenever you say, let the moon be our only light. 'Cause history is made at night. Show me your pocket, sorry, there are lots of books. This is our story. History is made at night. No one here to disapprove. Let the moon be our only light. 'Cause history is made at night. At night.
That was track 1, History is Made at Night. I was not expecting this. I was expecting traditional Steps like, I don't know, Europop and dance and ABBA influenced music. This is very different. It's very doo-wop, jazzy. Wasn't expecting that, and I had fun. History is made at night, so close the books, turn off the light, and listen. Let my heart be the teacher, no one here to disapprove. As we review the lessons you've been missing, let the moon be our only light, because history is made at night. And I won't lie, as I was listening to this track, I was conjuring this image in my head. Because of the lyrics, I was thinking of this affair that this history teacher was having with one of their students. I see the questions burning in your eyes, or is it just reflections of the stars high above you? Oh, I'm just your student. I hope you won't be shy. Please make corrections. Then we'll sleep through the day, then whenever you say, that's when school begins again. I mean, come on. This doesn't really sound like a Christmas song, I won't lie. I wouldn't really listen to it again. I did like listening to it for the first time. I thought it was fun, but I'm not the biggest fan of the lyrics overall. They're kind of, I don't want to say stupid, but they're just kind of, it's a fun song. It's a fun song, but I wouldn't really listen to it again. It is a little bit of a strange way to open up this album. Now, it looks like this song is from the musical TV series Smash. Oh, I remember that show. The song is featured as a track on the cast albums of The Music of Smash and Bombshell. I don't really know why Steps would cover this particular song for their Christmas holiday album. Anyway, let's move on to track 2, Overjoyed.
Castle of love. I've gone much too far for you now to say all the dreams I have picked out of perfect come true. The Sandman has come from too far away. Though you don't believe that they do come true. You took my beat overjoyed, over me. I have found what I've searched to discover. Though you don't believe that they do come true. Maybe to a few who believe you took my lead. And though the other improbable, what do they know? Overjoyed, over love, over you.
That was track 2, Overjoyed, and I love this song. I haven't listened to it in so many years, but the second the melody kicked in, I was like, ah, yes, I remember this track. I actually forget who sang it originally, which is horrible to say, and the original singer of the song was Stevie Wonder. Ah, yes, from his album In Square Circle from 1985. I personally don't think Steps did this song justice. I did like Steps' vocals on this track, which I think was the highlight. I didn't find the overall production to be memorable. The overall song to me just isn't a song I would want to listen to again from Steps. The thing with this song is it's so instantly recognizable. And you really have to do something different and unique with the song to make it memorable and stand on its own, or else people will just listen to the original. And I don't think Steps succeeded in that. There really isn't a reason for anyone to listen to this version of Overjoyed, other than being a huge Steps fan. And though you don't believe that they do come true. For did my dreams come true when I looked at you? And maybe too, if you would believe, you too might be overjoyed, over love, over me. Anyway, let's move on to track 3, It May Be Winter Outside.
When the temperature dips, I miss my baby's arms. Just as long as he's around. It may be winter outside. Can one lie free? But when I have it next to me, baby, I get ecstasy. How much joy and pleasure, baby. Can one lie free? Things are just not the same when he's not by my side. It may be winter outside. Can one lie free? It may be winter outside, but in my heart it's spring.
That was track 3, It May Be Winter Outside, and this was I'm sorry, but it was so bland, and there just wasn't anything intriguing or captivating about this track. Their vocals aren't really that engaging on this album. They're kind of just monotone. And also, the overall production is just so uninteresting and uninspired. It's like eating cooked rice without any flavor or taste. There's no salt or butter or spices or anything. It's just bland rice. I mean, that's the best analogy I can think of. It may be winter outside, but in my heart it's spring. How much joy and pleasure, baby, can one guy bring? Winter nights can be awful cold without someone to hold, but when I have you next to me, baby, I'm in ecstasy. So I do like the lyrics of this song, but they don't really bring any personality to their vocals. It sounds like one of those holiday songs you hear when you're calling a business and they put you on hold and music starts playing, this is the type of song you'd hear. I don't want to say that, and I feel bad because I love steps. I really do, but none of these songs are particularly interesting. Anyway, let's move on to track 4, One Less Bell to Answer.
One less bell to answer. One less man to pick up after. Please cry. No more laughter. Did she go? I only know that since he left, don't know how in the world to stop thinking. One less man, no more love. One less bell to answer. Why did he leave me to pick up after? No more laughter. All I do is cry.
I really can't listen to the rest of this track. One Less Bell to Answer. It's almost 5 minutes, dear God. Now, this track is a test in my patience, and unfortunately, I failed. There's nothing festive about this album. There's nothing that reminds me of winter or snow. And they sound so bored and disconnected. It's just such a boring track to listen to. One less bell to answer, one less egg to fry, one less man to pick up after I should be happy, but all I do is cry, 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 no more laughter. I should be happy. I only know that since he left my life so empty, though I try to forget, it just can't be done. Each time the doorbell rings, I still run. There's nothing about this song that screams Christmas. This is technically supposed to be a Christmas album. It says here, Light Up the World is the first Christmas album by British pop group Steps. Even looking at the album artwork, it screams holidays, New Year's Eve, Christmas, wintertime, but there's nothing festive about this album. Anyway, let's move on to track 5, A House Is Not a Home.
A chair is still a chair, but a chair is not a house, and a house is not a home. You can kiss goodnight, but a roof is not a home, and a house is not a home. Has a broken heart. A piece, but it's just so darling, have a heart. Keep us apart. I'm not meant to live my life. Turn this house into a home. I'm not meant to live my life. Still in
That was track 5, A House Is Not a Home, and this track was slightly more bearable than the prior track, One Less Bell to Answer. I will say, they sound good on this album. I like the vocals. The only issue I have with their vocals is they just sound so bored and uninterested. I don't know why they selected these particular songs for this album. Out of all the songs you could have chosen, you choose these tracks. I don't get it. This isn't the Steps I know. This doesn't sound like a Steps album. It's not fun. It's a little somber, and to me this isn't Steps. A room is still a room, even when there's nothing there but gloom. But a room is not a house, and a house is not a home when the two of us are far apart, and one of us has a broken heart. Now, A House Is Not a Home is originally from 1964 by Dionne Warwick. I do want to go back to the prior track, One Less Bell, to answer just quickly, because it was originally written in 1967 for Keely Smith, and then it was recorded in 1970 by The Fifth Dimension. Anyway, let's move on to track 6, Light Up the World.
If you wish upon the stars, will they give you all we want? If you wander from the heart, will you come to any harm? Got the key to set them off. Time to stop the clock. We can light up the world. The secret we're keeping, I know you believe. Do you cross your heart? Does it make you who you are? No, never know. We can light up the world. The secret we're keeping, I know you believe. Imagination will set you free. You're gonna understand.
That was track 6, Light Up the World, and finally there's a pulse. Definitely the best track on the album, and I think this is an original step song. At least this track possesses a hint of the old steps, and I liked it. I would listen to it again, but again, their vocals just are so lifeless on this album. We can light up the world with the secret we're keeping. I know you believe it. Do you cross your heart? Does it make you who you are? You never know. If the spark becomes a flame, would it warm or cause you pain? You never know, you never know. So the lyrics aren't really interesting, to be honest with you, but I like the overall grandeur of the song. I like the overall production, and I thought it was cute. Anyway, let's move on to track 7, When She Loved Me. Oh god, no. No!
When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful. And when she was sad, I was there to dry her tears. When she loved me, just she and I together, like it was meant to be. She loved me. So the years went by, I stayed the same, lonely and forgotten. I never thought she'd look my way like she loved me. When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful. When she loved me.
That was track 7, When She Loved Me. No, 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 no. My heart's broken. I mean, for those of you who have seen Toy Story 2, I don't need to explain it. Now, this does sound almost identical to the original version sung by Sarah McLachlan. And it just, I don't know, it kind of sounds like American Idol karaoke. I don't know why they chose these songs for this album. Like, why this song? Why all those other songs? These songs bring nothing to the album. To me, this isn't steps. It's like someone else chose these songs and they were forced to record them. It's a very sad album to listen to. It's very somber, and I mean, there are a lot of sad Christmas songs out there, but when you listen to a Christmas album, usually it brings you warmth and makes you feel something, the spirit of Christmas. There's zero spirit in these songs. When somebody loved me, everything was beautiful. Every hour spent together lives within my heart. Lowly and forgotten, never thought she looked my way. And she smiled at me and held me, just like she used to do. Like she loved me. When she loved me. When somebody loved me. Everything was beautiful. I guess I'll repeat what I said about Overjoyed, how because the song doesn't bring anything unique to the track, they don't really make it their own. There's no reason to listen to Steps' version of this track. Of course, going forward, I will always be listening to Sarah McLachlan's. So let's move on to track 8, Christmas, Baby, Please Come Home.
Christmas at all. Pretty lights on the tree. They're singing deck the halls. If there was a way, I hope that these tears, please, 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 please.
That was track 8, Christmas, Baby, Please Come Home. Finally, a festive Christmas song. And we're 8 tracks into the album. Definitely, I think this is the best song on the album so far. I also liked Light Up the World, but this track, I mean, this is obviously the best track. It's the most festive, it's the most fun, and I thought the vocals were fun as well, and I liked it. Now, this is a song from 1963, originally sung by Darlene Love. So let's move on to track 9, Please Come Home for Christmas.
The glad, glad news. My baby's gone. I have no friends. Choirs will be singing. Silent night. Please come home for Christmas. Come home for Christmas. Come home for Christmas. Friends and relations. Friends and relations. Send salutation. This is Christmas. This is Christmas. Christmas, my dear. There'll be no more sorrow. No more sorrow.
That was track 9, Please Come Home for Christmas. Another good song on the album. Definitely one of the best, one of the more festive songs. And that's sad to say because we're pretty much at the end of the album and we're just finally getting these Christmas tracks. I liked the overall instrumental. It really does sound like a track that someone would have heard on the radio back in the 1950s, perhaps. I also liked his vocals on this track. His vocals sounded quite vintage. Oh, what a Christmas to have the blues. My baby's gone. I have no friends to wish my greetings once again. Choirs will be singing Silent Night. Christmas carols by candlelight. Please come home for Christmas. Now, this is a song from 1960, originally performed by pianist Charles Brown. You know what? I would listen to this track again. I enjoyed it. So we have come to the end of the album at track 10. Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
Christmas future is far away. Christmas present is here today. shining star on the highest. A merry little Christmas now.
That was track 10, Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, and I thought this was another good song on the album. I like how they opened up this track with something different than the typical Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, Let Your Heart Be Light. Instead, they opened the track with Christmas future is far away, Christmas past is past, Christmas present is here today, bringing joy that may last. And then they go into the Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, Let Your Heart Be Light. I liked all their vocals on this track as well, and the prolonged instrumental towards the end. Now, this track was originally from 1943, and it was made famous by Judy Garland. I mean, there are so many versions of this song out there, but I think Steps did it justice. So that was all 10 tracks of Light Up the World by Steps, and this was a poor comeback from Steps after 12 years. I don't know what they were thinking with a lot of these tracks. The only real good songs are the last three, the three traditional Christmas songs, which are the most festive, and even Light Up the World, track 6, but all the other tracks are absolutely abysmal. There's nothing festive about this album. There's zero holiday cheer, with the exception of the last 3 songs. I did like their singing on this album, but for me, their singing lacked a lot of personality and joy. I also thought the overall production of a lot of these tracks was quite boring to listen to and very typical and generic. I honestly have no idea what they were thinking with a lot of these tracks. Even though I did like the last 3 tracks, Christmas, Baby, Please Come Home for Christmas, and Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas, I do think this is probably one of the worst holiday albums I've ever listened to, because it doesn't really sound like a holiday, Christmas, wintertime album. Another highlight of the album is the album artwork. I like the album cover. I'm curious to know what longtime Steps fans thought of this album. These songs don't have any replay value, with the exception of some of the traditional Christmas songs towards the end. And there's also just one original Steps song on the album, and that's Light Up the World. This album definitely didn't light up my world. It actually darkened it. This is the type of Christmas album you play if someone close to you had just died during the holidays. Then you would play an album like this. I just wish there was more joy on this album. I wish it was more upbeat and fun and playful, festive. I wish there was more emotion on the album. I also wish they were more unique with a lot of these tracks. But ultimately, I think it comes down to song selection, and the song selection was just absurd. I also don't know why there were so many sad songs on this album. Now, to me, that sounds like a Steps Christmas cover, Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree, or even Santa Baby. I think that would have been a fun, playful song for one of the girls to sing. So what did you guys think of this holiday Christmas album from Steps, and what are your impressions? Maybe you like it. To each their own, I guess. But I didn't really enjoy myself. So anyway, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you have a wonderful holiday season. Hopefully Santa's good to you, no coal in your stocking. Hopefully you've been a good boy or girl. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. You can find me on Twitter, you can find me on Instagram, you can message me, you can say, hey, how are you? And I will see you next time, next year. Have a happy holiday season, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and farewell.